Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Awesome to see you. Who's ready to bust some limiting beliefs? Woohoo! Yeah. So, this is the instant limiting belief busting workshop where I'm going to take you through a really simple and really powerful process. And of course, it is brought to you proudly, very proudly, by the amazing Amanda McCloy and Coach to Success. So, thank you for making this possible, Amanda. I'm really excited. I'm super excited to see you all here. This is being recorded, which prompts me to just do the little paranoia check. Yep, we're all good. We're recording. Okay, so say hi in the chat box. Turn off your cameras if you can, unless you're not wearing clothes, then it's all good. It's all good. I mean, we are among friends, but there are limits. So what I would love you to do, say hi in the chat box, tell us where you're dialing in from, and also take a moment and have a little think about, if limiting beliefs were not a thing, where do you think you could be right now? What could you be doing? What might be different? Let us know in the chat. I want to know. Hello, Jess from Toowoomba. Woohoo! Good to see you all here. Yeah, turn on your cameras if you can. While you're doing that, let me give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be doing, and then I'll come back to what you shared with us. So this is a live workshop. It's going to be interactive, which is why it's nice to be able to see you if you're dressed. We've covered that. We're going to be going through a process that you actually all now have access to in my members portal. So you've got access to everything we'll be using today, and there's a tutorial and so on. But what today does is it gives you the opportunity to actually go through it live with me. We're going to do a live demo. You're going to have some time to actually practice this, and then we're going to have time for me to actually help you, coach you, do a little bit of Q&A, just to make sure you're really nailing it. And then right at the very end, we're going to do a hypnotic meditation together, just to really wire in that new belief that you're choosing for yourself today. So today we're going to just choose one. I know you probably have a nice long list ready to smash out. We're going to start with one, and we're going to identify it. We're going to weaken it. And then we're going to choose the one to replace it with. And just while we're on that, the temptation is always to go for the biggest, ugliest mother you can get your hands on. But let's just, start with training wheels. Let's just get your head around this process rather than trying to get your head around a new process and, stare down the biggest limiting belief you think you might have. So we'll start with something gentle, something that's not like, oh my God, this will be, if I can just change this one thing, it'll change my entire life. You will be able to go for that one next. But it just makes it easier to actually start with something that feels a little bit less intimidating, so you can actually practice the process and go, okay, I get how this works now. I get what it's meant to feel like. I get that this part is meant to feel really uncomfortable, because you will literally be rewiring your brain. So, practice the process first before you kind of throw an extra layer at it. Stop saying that I'm getting changed now. Flow. Keep the video off till you're done. Kelly's dialing in from Bowen. Susan, Rockingham, Gold Coast. Hey, Paris. My daughter's on the Gold Coast. She did come back home for the cyclone, though. Flo's in Singapore. Oh, there you go. Jalay, is that how I say it? From Perth. Awesome. Kerry's in Adelaide. Yo, Adelaide in the house. That's where I am. $1 million months, says Amanda. That's a limiting belief in itself. Every belief is a limiting belief. I was going to do a whole thing on that the other day. Every single belief you have is a limiting belief, because it's always got constraints, right? So maybe that's a reframe we need. Maybe we just need to actually swap beliefs that are that we've outgrown into beliefs that we can now grow into next, and it's an ever-evolving thing. So we're in Wirramina Station. Ooh, where is that, Stacey? Is that up north, I imagine? Michelle, hi. Melbourne, Hannah, hi, Bendigo. So let me know if limiting beliefs were not a thing. I nailed your name. Oh, good. Gelée. I think that's how I said it. God, wouldn't that be embarrassing if I got it wrong the second time? Yes. Awesome. Cool. So I really want you to ponder that. And, well said, Amanda, as well. It's a limit. Every belief you pick, you're going to get to a stage, if you continue to grow, where that's going to be a limitation in itself. It's a never-ending, always evolving process. And isn't that nice? Like, it's not this nasty, horrible thing. It's just that was the parameters and the container in which you felt comfortable and safe before. Now you're kind of going, oh, it's getting a bit squishy in here. Let's replace it. Let's go to something more expansive. When we get to that starting to get squishy and limiting, we replace it and expand again. So just that one little mindset shift makes the whole thing a whole lot less scary, don't you think? Very good. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey. Okay, so the process I'm going to take you through, for those of you who don't know much about me, I am a hypnotherapist, but what I tend to do is actually use all that knowledge and all the hours and hundreds of clients I've worked with over the years to create processes that you can do yourself. So you don't have to pay me, so you don't have to wait till I'm available, because I'm not, for one-on-ones anymore. And so you can just get on with it. And so you can empower yourself, because it's actually so much easier than you think when you understand how to approach it and how to work with that amazing power of your unconscious mind, because that's where all the beauty and all the good stuff happens, right? It's all at the level of the unconscious. And a lot of people try to battle things at the conscious level, and it just doesn't work. It's just really exhausting and frustrating. But when you know how to bypass that critical factor and go straight to the unconscious level, magic happens, and it's so much easier. So we're going to basically focus on 3 steps: identifying and literally naming and shaming the limiting belief that we're dealing with. And then we're going to look at weakening it. And then we're going to look at how do we start replacing it. So before we get into it, 3 myths I want to bust right now for you. The first one is that limiting beliefs need to be like totally gone, never to be heard from again. It's like they never existed at all for you to be able to move past them. Not at all true. Not at all true. All you need to do is weaken them enough that you can move past them. So imagine, you're traveling down the road and there's a big boulder in your way, and you have like a magic ray gun because you're a superhero. I like to think of myself as a DJ and a superhero. So you have this magic ray gun and you can just zap that big boulder and reduce it to nothing but a pile of rubble. Now, you can get over a pile of rubble, right? You have balance, you've got some good shoes on, and you can just climb over it. So you don't need to spend ages moving every single pebble and rock out of your way before you can move forward. As long as it's weakened and crushed enough that you can then just clamber over it and get on with it, that's great, right? Because a lot of people who love doing mindset work actually use it as an excuse to stay stuck. They get really enamored with it, and it's like it gives you something to do, keeps you busy. You're going, yeah, I'm doing the mindset work. And so you can just keep talking about what you're going to do, where you're going to go one day. But really, you've just found yourself a way of keeping busy and going nowhere. So we're not going to sit here and like pick up every little pebble and make it all squeaky clean so you can eat off the floor. We just want to crush the boulder down into a pile of rocks that we can just walk over. Okay. And then we want to choose the new belief. Now, the other myth I want to bust is that it's like a once and done kind of thing. I have this one big limiting belief that's the cause of all my problems in life. And once I deal with that, it's all over. Well, it's not. Like, we've already talked about that, right? If you think about it more as an ever-expanding container, it's actually more like that. And sometimes you'll find that these old kind of stories will come back, but it'll be echoes and whispers of them, because it's like, are you sure this is safe? Are you sure it's going to be all right? And you'll be better equipped to deal with them because you go, yeah, it's cool. It's good. Thank you for checking on me, but we're all good. And so if you embrace that it's always going to be a thing, but it doesn't have to be a scary, overwhelming thing, then you're in a much more powerful position. So it's not a once and done. It's a continual thing. You're going to keep taking out the trash because if you keep cooking, consuming, you're going to keep creating garbage and it just needs to be taken out so it doesn't stink and take over the house. So you'll do that regularly. And this is the same thing. You're going to keep growing. You're going to keep expanding. You're going to keep growing your teams and your business. And you're going to keep taking out the garbage that threatens to get in the way and starts, creating a stink. And it's just maintenance. That's all it is. And there are times when you just forget all about it and you just keep, merrily throwing stuff in the bin. And then there are times when you go, okay, better take care of that. The third thing is that the myth is that it has to be difficult, slow, and painful to get past limiting beliefs. And that's totally not true. That's if you're trying to do it the way I described before, when you're battling it with willpower at the conscious level and you're beating yourself up. That's hard. That's slow. Doesn't really work, to be honest, and it's painful and it's exhausting. But when you actually know how to go to that unconscious level and approach it there and attack it there, it literally is instant, because there is that moment where your unconscious mind goes, oh, that's a much better way. And it just lets go of the old belief and starts looking for something that's going to serve you better. So it is instantaneous because your unconscious's prime objective is to keep you safe. So any belief and story that it takes on and runs with, it's because based on the information and the circumstances at the time, that is what it thought was the best way to do that, to keep you safe. And then when you can show it a better way, or that's no longer required, it'll just go, okay, cool. Because it's also very efficient. It's not going to waste time doing stuff that has no purpose and that doesn't serve to keep you safe. So they're the three myths. Keep that in mind. They don't have to be totally gone. So I'm telling you this because at the end of this, you might go, oh, but that's still kind of, there's a whisper there. That's cool. Totally good. It's not going to be like you've had a brain transplant. It doesn't need to be. And the second one is once and done. Nope. Keep doing it, which is why I give you the tools. And all of you who are here with me have access to the whole toolkit. And if I update it down the track, you'll get access to that. And every now and then I run a live workshop training a bit like this, or maybe I tweak it a bit. You'll be invited to come along to those. So you get amazing value out of this and ongoing support. And you have a tool you can keep using. And the third thing, it's not meant to be difficult and slow. If it is, you're doing something wrong. That's actually a signal that something isn't quite working the way it should. All right. So let me know in the chat box, what makes you think you have one or more limiting beliefs? What makes you think that? Tell me. Let me know what makes you think you have limiting beliefs. Procrastinate a lot. Yep. The pace at which I grow, stuck in a rut, don't seem to be progressing. Something I continue to tell myself and hold myself back. Holding yourself back. Yeah. Everything feels so hard. Procrastination, anxiety, procrastination, decision paralysis. Cool. Get nervous when I post online. Right. That's a good one. You're actually feeling a physical reaction. That's a really good one. Not reaching the levels that I want. Get to the end of the day, think I've achieved nothing, not moving forward, pressure on myself, procrastination. Cool. Downplay everything I do, repeat the same mistakes, procrastinate, doubt myself. I hold stuff. Cool. There's some really good stuff there. And then the next question is, okay, so you go, I must have a limiting belief. Well, oh my God, all of the above. Overthinking. Yep. So when you go, oh, must have a limiting belief, then how do you go about knowing what the hell it is? Because if you don't know what it is, how can you change it? What do you do? Like, do you have any go-tos? Do you have any ways that you try to figure out what the hell it is? How do you know? I'm going to show you, of course, a really easy way to figure that out. But I want to know, like right now, how do you go, I wonder what it is? Like, do you even try, or do you just go, don't know, it just is? Or do you try to figure it out? Yep, journaling, cool. Journaling can be, blame yourself for being stupid. I wonder, nothing seems to come though. Yep, so you wonder about it, but it's like drawing a blank. I think about it all the time in my own head, try to get it out on paper. Cool. Okay, well, let's give you a much easier, simpler way. So I'm going to just share my screen. I want to just give you some background info. This actually isn't in the online learning portal, so you guys are getting this as a little bonus because I know it's going to be really helpful to help you get your head around why this process we're about to move through is so powerful. So I'm just going to turn off my video so that the recording is a bit cleaner for you as well. So let's talk about how thoughts become things. And this is a really simple, elegant model. It's based on Mike Dooley's work in Infinite Possibilities. And this is the thoughts become things cycle. So this is how most people operate, right? They have things around them, things that happen, things that they're told, things that they see, things that they're programmed with. And those things cause them to take on beliefs, right? Those things, the observations, the experiences, create beliefs. And that's what we're going to be coming back to, like, what the hell are those beliefs? How do we shift them? But those beliefs then create perceptions that become like this filter through which you see the world. And if we were in a room together today doing this workshop, I would be handing out coloured sunglasses just to kind of illustrate how, depending on the coloured lens you look through, the world looks different. But you can choose to swap the glasses, right? You can swap with your neighbors. So you might have pink lenses, they've got blue. When you swap, the world looks different. So these perceptions, they color our world, and the perceptions are based on the beliefs that we hold. And so they then inform the way we feel, the emotions that we then experience. So if you hold a belief that, it's really hard to grow your business and everybody says no, then you're going to have this perception that everybody's not really interested, and you're going to have emotions that are, maybe you're anxious, you're nervous, you feel rejected, you feel like no one gives a shit, that kind of stuff. So the beliefs create the perceptions, which create the emotions. And the emotions then lead to thoughts that match the emotions. So that's when we do all the overthinking, beating ourselves up, and the rest of it. Now then, based on those thoughts, that then informs the words we speak. The things that come out of our mouth really are just our thoughts given form, right? And then based on all of that, we take action, or we don't take action, or we take certain actions and not others. Procrastination comes into it a lot, right? That's a lack of action. That's also an action. It's doing nothing is also doing something. Doing nothing with great skill and purpose. And then, of course, all of that leads to more things, more outcomes, more results or lack of results. And that then feeds the whole cycle again. So what most people miss is the fact that this is a cycle, right? This is a cycle. And if you look at that cycle and you go, okay, well, I want to change the things I'm getting, and so I need to change my beliefs, that can seem really difficult and intimidating, because we don't even know, as we just established, what the heck those beliefs actually are. So when you look at this cycle though, if I say to you, okay, well, tell me about some of the things you do. Okay, well, we can look at that and try to figure out what the beliefs might be. We can look at what you say. Then if I ask you about your perceptions, you're going to go, huh? What are you talking about? That's too hard. If I ask you what you're thinking, you're going to go, a lot. And they're going so fast, I can't even catch half of them. I'm aware of some of them. But if I ask you how you're feeling, that's usually a pretty easy one to put your finger on, right? And so that's why in this process I'm going to take you through, that's where we start. The emotions is like the big red flag that goes, woo, limiting belief here, come this way, dig here, right? Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box if that makes sense. And then let's get into it. I'm going to make sure you've all got the worksheets that we're going through today. So if you've already downloaded them, full marks to you. If not, there are 2 you need that we're going to be looking at today. In the student portal, yes, makes sense? Good. Mind blown, love it. We're going to be working through these 2 worksheets, the step 2 and the step 3, because step 1 is sort of, when you go into the learning portal, if you haven't played with it yet, there's a tutorial. I take you through step 1. It's kind of a little bit of pre-baking, but we're going to get right into the meat of it today and go straight into step 2. So you now understand why starting with, what are those emotions, is the really easy way to then start digging down into those limiting beliefs. So we're going to do it. Let me share my screen. I'll share the worksheet. Have yours in front of you. If you've printed it off, you can write on it. It's fillable. If all that's too hard, just get a piece of paper and scribble on that. Whatever you need to do to keep up is totally fine. Now, I'm going to go through this with one of you to demo the process. So this is where I ask for a volunteer. Who wants to actually be coached through this step by step with me? Leanne, your hand shot up first. What's the first one I saw? I love it. Thanks, Leanne. Let me share my screen. So where are we? Step 2 is the worksheet we're looking at. All right, Leanne, unmute yourself. Are you with me?
I am.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes, you are. Thank you for that. This is going to be really helpful because everybody else will be able to feel their way through this process with you. And this is very much a feeling process because we're going to start from the level of emotions. So I just want to let everybody know there's a level 1 process in here, which is just a little thing to have in your toolkit in your back pocket. We're not actually going to go through that. When you look at the learning portal in the tutorial, I explain how to use that. We're going to go straight to this. So remember, we just established that negative feelings point to limiting beliefs. So Leanne, this is what you need to do for me. You're going to need to, as succinctly as possible, tell me the negative feeling and the situation. Like, what is it you feel that way about? And you don't want to sugarcoat it too much, and you want to be pretty blunt and succinct with it. So what have we got? And remember, ideally, not the biggest problem in your life right now because you're trying to learn a process.
I hope I'm doing this right. It says state the negative feeling and situation. Well, I guess I'm disappointed with how I am. So I feel disappointed with my lack of leveling up and succeeding with my business.
Cool. And just checking in, is disappointed as meaty as it gets?
Oh, no, probably no. Pissed off. What other words can I come up with, Yeah. Annoyed.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disappointed, pissed off, and annoyed. Let's put them all in there. Cool. So that's the starting point. Like, how easy is this? You actually have to just go, this is the emotion I'm feeling, and this is what the situation that I'm feeling it about. I think anyone can do that, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go to the next question. Why do you feel disappointed, pissed off, and annoyed about your lack of business success? And Every single instruction in these worksheets is really important. So be succinct. Give me one sentence.
I lost it just then. Why am I?
Why do you feel that way?
Because I know that I should be doing better. Is that
okay? That's fine. We'll start there. We have some bits built in here that are like, if you're not quite on track, it'll help you circle back and get on track. So we'll just roll with it, right? Because this is a learning exercise today, because I should be doing better. So whenever I ask you what the reason for something is, guess what you're going to tell me, Leanne?
I don't know.
You're going to tell me you're going to tell me your belief about that thing. Every time I ask you, what's your reason for anything, you're going to tell me you're going to come back to me with a belief.
Because
right? Sorry, no, hang on. I'm not asking you a question. I'm explaining.
Yep.
So any time, this is for everybody, anytime I ask you what's your reason, the answer, or any time you ask somebody what's your reason for that, the answer they give you is going to show you what they believe, because our reasons are our beliefs. Okay, so super simple. Whenever you ask yourself or ask someone else, what's your reason for that? They'll tell you the belief. It has to be. There can't be any other way, right? So you've already given me what your limiting belief is.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. Mm-hmm. Number 2. Say it out loud with me.
Because I should be doing better.
Yeah. So there's another box over the page that just allows you to tidy it up a little bit if you need to, but you've done a pretty good job. I would just even make it, I should be doing better, right? I should be doing better. See how that's a really limiting belief?
Ah, right.
Ah.
Yep.
And how easy was that?
It wasn't hard at all.
No. Okay. So knowing what your limiting beliefs are is actually pretty easy when you know exactly how to ask the right question that brings it up to the surface. Yes. Cool. So that was the easy bit, Leanne.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, okay.
You are going to be so glad you put your hand up for this.
I'm going to be so glad, I know.
You're going to be so glad, and everybody else is going to be, damn it.
Yeah, no, they're all going to go, phew.
No, because we'll have some time for me to help more people, but so you're getting like the step by step
as well.
I can send it through to you after. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll save this. So the next bit, now you're going to need to focus for me here. The next bit is actually going to start really messing with that belief where it's wired in your brain. So it's going to feel confusing. If you feel confused, it's working. Like, this is for everybody, in case you're already playing along doing your own. If you start feeling confused and you're kind of going, like when those of us who are old enough, when your DVD gets stuck and it just,
or your video or your cassette.
Yes, exactly. That's because your brain's going, oh my God, that neural pathway is not firing the way it usually does, right? So you're literally rewiring your brain. So it's meant to feel confusing, and you just breathe and you just, breathe your way through it, and eventually it kind of goes ka-kunk and it starts up again. But you've actually set a new pathway and you've disrupted an old one. So it's meant to feel confusing, okay? So very important to answer this question exactly the way it's worded. So we're referring back to the feeling, which I'm naming X, feeling disappointed, pissed off, and annoyed. So what are you afraid would happen if you didn't feel disappointed, pissed off, and annoyed? What are you afraid would happen if you didn't feel disappointed, annoyed, and pissed off?
I know what you mean about confused. I'd be just,
What are you afraid would happen if you didn't feel that way?
I'm getting more confused by the minute.
Good, good.
What am I afraid of would happen if I didn't feel that way? Well, if I didn't feel that way, there's two things. I'd either couldn't give a shit and I'd be not trying hard at all,
Is that what you're afraid of?
or I'd be bloody killing it.
No, no, no. You're trying to rationalize what would happen if you didn't have the belief. But the question is, what are you afraid would happen if you didn't have those feelings?
What would I be afraid of? That I couldn't give a shit. I don't. No, that doesn't make sense.
Well, it's not. Would do limiting beliefs make sense?
No.
So notice what's happening here, right? You're following the feeling and you're coming up with something, and then you're trying to talk yourself out of it. Like your conscious mind's going, yeah, but that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but do limiting beliefs make sense?
No.
Do the things we do because we have limiting beliefs make sense? No. So it's not about making sense, right? It's it's literally like I've written it under there under question 3. What's the feeling trying to protect you from? That's what we're trying to get to the bottom of.
Oh, I didn't read that bit.
That's okay. You're busy. You're a bit busy at the moment. So what did you just say to me that you wouldn't give a shit?
Yeah.
So if you didn't feel, what are the words we're using? Disappointed, pissed off, annoyed. You're afraid that if you didn't feel that way, that you wouldn't give a shit. And what? Nothing would happen? What did you say before? Something like that?
Yeah, nothing had happened and I'd just give it the full.
Okay. Do you really believe that?
No.
See how strong that response was?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody is already playing along at home and they got a yes or a maybe, then there's a note there saying if you get a yes, like, yeah, I think I might actually believe that crap, right? Because it's not going to make sense. It's going to be something irrational because that's what this is all about. It's about irrational fears trying to keep us safe. So if you did come up with a, unlike Leanne, if you went, oh, I think maybe I do believe that, then what you can do, because remember, we just want to weaken this. We just want to break it down. You can go back up through the the level 1 that we skipped and take it through that because that'll weaken it and then you keep moving on. That's just a sidebar. But for you, Leanne, who's gone, no, I don't believe that. All right, cool. Let's move on. So what are you afraid would happen? What did I write in here? Oh, hang on. I did a copy paste. I should be doing better. Somehow I managed to get all the rest of everything else in there. All right. Sorry, Leanne.
It's okay.
Okay. So we're on question 5. What are you afraid would happen if you didn't believe that you should be doing better?
What is the belief trying to protect me from? Geez, wish someone else had to put their hand up. What am I afraid would happen if I believe?
You are doing really great.
What am I afraid would happen if I didn't believe I should be doing better? Well, I probably would be doing better. No?
You're afraid of doing better?
Oh, no. Maybe I am.
If that were to happen, I don't think it has, but just to help everybody else watching along. If you do think, oh shit, I've just uncovered a deeper belief, like a deeper limiting belief, you just go back and start again with that one, right? That's all you would do. But that's not, I don't think that's where you're at, Leanne. So let's go back to the question.
Okay.
What are you afraid would happen if you didn't believe that you should be doing better? What are you afraid would happen?
I'm not afraid.
What are you afraid would well, you're holding on to the belief for a reason. It's trying to protect you from something.
What am I afraid would happen?
If you didn't believe that you should be doing better. Okay, let me phrase it differently for you. What's the worst that could happen if you didn't believe you should be doing better?
I would be doing better.
Is that the worst that could happen?
Oh, no, that's not the worst. No.
So what are you afraid would happen?
I'd give up.
You'd give up. Okay, there you go. It takes a while, but that's okay. That's because you've got like neural pathways that are really bedded down and we're really shaking them up. And so, it's just stick with it, stick with it. You'll know it. Like, did you hear your voice just then when you came up with this one?
It was louder and more assertive.
Yeah, like you're like, I've got it. Yeah, I'm afraid that I would give up. Like you just know it, right? So it's really important to stay within your body and not try and get in your head when you guys are doing this. Do you really believe what you just said, that you would give up? Do you really believe you'd give up?
No, I don't.
No, see? So there you go. Okay. So what if that old limiting belief that you should be doing better just isn't true? What would that mean?
If it's not true.
What if it's not true that you should be doing better?
I don't know if this is the right answer, but I shouldn't be saying I should be.
Yeah, so put that a different way. What would it mean?
I am doing better. I'm doing well. Stop smiling.
Me?
You're about this big on my screen, but I can still see a little bit of a smile.
It would mean you're actually probably doing quite well.
Good.
And you're not doing anything wrong. And you just need to keep going, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what could you choose to believe instead of that old belief? What could you choose to believe? I'm not saying you have to, just to not freak anyone out, but what could you choose to believe instead?
That I believe that I know exactly what I'm doing and can do it.
I know exactly what I'm doing and I can do it. And what would become possible if that was true?
I would be successful and I wouldn't have any limiting beliefs.
I would be successful. And where can you already see evidence of that being true? Where can you already see evidence of you being successful?
Because I know that I have done things that I have been successful. I can see things that I have done that have been successful.
Yep. Okay.
So the experiences.
Oh, sorry. Typing sucks. Where I've been successful already in the past. So I'll word it like that. I can see where I've already been successful in the past. Yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you know you need to do next?
I need to keep doing it.
Yeah. I need to keep going is what I'm going to write. Sorry. I'm hijacking your process. So
Fine.
how are you feeling about all of that now?
Yeah, good, I think. Yeah.
Can you even remember what the old belief was right now?
No, actually, I can't.
Isn't that great? What do you think that means?
That means I've turfed it.
That means, yeah, you've started to really let go of it. Awesome. All right. I'm going to, hang on, just take you to, if I can find it on my screen. Hang on. I'm trying to find, where's my other sheet? One sec. Going to take you to the next part of the process is actually on a separate sheet, but Zoom isn't showing it to me for some reason. Hang on. Let me try that again. Probably got too many things open. There it is. Okay, so after what you've just gone through, which you've done an awesome job at, so round of applause for Leanne, thank you. We then move forward, right? And we can go into this. So you can now just start by restating that new belief that you now choose to embody,
Okay.
which was
I know.
I know I can be sick. Oh, yep. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yes. And I can be successful, wasn't it? Or I can do it well.
Yep. And, oh, sorry, my caps lock was on, but that's okay. How do you now feel about the old situation? I know we've already talked about it, but let's pop it in here.
It just feels no longer important to feel that way. It's no longer, it's no longer
it's no longer useful, is
it?
Yeah. All that negative emotion, there's no use for it anymore. How cool is that? So how has your thinking already shifted?
Well, I've already gone from sort of here to way up here in a few steps. So yeah, I feel like it's moved along a lot.
Cool. And what are you ready to do differently, Leanne?
To not think about what I can't do.
Beautiful. And bonus question, what else do you want to change?
My age? No.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. What else do I want to change? My attention span.
Cool. So that last one is in there just to give you guys something. Sometimes different things are hooked in together, and you'll notice that when you release one thing and shift one thing, the others kind of fall like dominoes. And sometimes it just gives you, another angle that you might want to approach this whole thing through. So it's just, rounding it out a little bit. So Leanne, you rock. Thank you. Absolute superstar. I am going to give you all some time to take yourself through this process quietly. So we're just going to be quiet for a little while, and then I'm going to support whoever has some questions, but we'll spend the first little bit just being silent. So if you do have questions, just wait, because we don't want to distract people who are right kind of in the thick of it. I'll just mention this now because it's on my screen. This will be your homework, because we're going to finish our session today with a meditation, which is going to really take you there and connect you. And then you can sit down afterwards on your own, or maybe tomorrow or over the weekend, and write a letter to yourself from the confident future you who's already nailed all of this, right? And the meditation we're going to do will really help with that as well. So if anyone has a really burning question around how to do it, or I can't download it, jump in now quickly. But other than that, let's just have, quite a good little block of silence so that everyone can just be in their own head and work their way through that process. And then I'll check in with you and offer support wherever I can. Alrighty. Sorry, I just realised I wasn't actually muted. So hopefully I wasn't snorting into the microphone. Sorry, everybody. I will let you just keep going for a little bit. What I wanted to just quickly show you as well, just in case anyone's unclear, is where to find this for yourself later on. So you've all got access to my learning portal. So you should have, when you registered, received an email from Thrivecart with your login details. If you don't have them, can't find them, whatnot, then you can just request the password reset. And the easiest way to do it is, I'll pop it in the chat box again, miriamcastilla.thrivecart.com/L for learn. And you can just reset your password. We don't have your password, so you have to do a password reset direct. Once you log in, you get to the main dashboard here, and then you're just going to want to scroll down to find the instant belief breakthrough process. And when you click on that, it's just 3 simple steps. First, you download your worksheets, and there's a meditation there as well. And then second step, there's a quick tutorial where I talk you through it all. Oh God, really old hairstyle there. And number 3, there's another workshop recording similar to what we're doing today, but different because live. And that's it. So that's everything you need there. As it gets updated, it'll just be updated for you. You'll log in again and go, oh, that's new. But this workshop here today, that's only for you guys. That's not going up public anywhere, but you will get the recording. So let's see if I can see you all. Oh, and actually, let me just stop the share for a sec. Then I can see you better. Who needs a hand or has a question? We already just, sorry, yep, go on. Hands up if your video is on. And if not, then be quick. Amanda. Cool. Just while you're unmuting yourself, Amanda, just going to go back over the question that, who was it that asked? Flo asked in question 6, if it's not a strong no, do you go back, like I suggested, where I actually say go back to the level 1 questions. They're the ones we just skipped past. We didn't actually do them today. And it kind of just loosens everything up. If it's not a strong no, don't stress. Like, remember, we just want to break things down enough that it's weak enough that we can move forward, because you have lots of great tools, right? So, and we're going to be focusing on the new belief and strengthening that. So you don't want to get too caught up in, it's got to be, 100% no. If it's mostly no, that's fine. Move forward. If you're like, I'm not sure, I'm pretty wobbly on this, then cool, go back. It'll only take you a minute. It's not going to take a lot of time. Cool. And very importantly, practice this. Practice this quite a few times so that, whenever you get to a point where you're like, shit, I need to dig that out, you'll remember how to take yourself through it. Amanda, how can I help you?
When we feel stuck between those answers, what is a tool that can help us work through that? I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put it into words.
I think I know what you mean. Shall I have a go and then tell me if I'm on the wrong track? So it's discombobulating, right? It's literally discombobulating because you're creating dissonance. You're creating cognitive dissonance. So it's it feels really weird. It feels really uncomfortable. And that's why I warned you about that to begin with. So you want to, number one, remind yourself that means it's working. Like, rather than getting frustrated and going, why am I not getting this? Why don't I know? Well, you don't know because your brain is wired not to know. And right now you're in the middle of brain surgery, rewiring your brain, and that's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. So it's like, that's okay. Just keep reminding yourself, that's great. That means it's working. Like, if it didn't feel uncomfortable, I'd be going, oh, something's not right. So that's number one. Embrace it, expect it, and just try to relax into it and go, that's great. This is the process. I'm doing it. Yay, it's working. Number two, breathe. Remember to breathe. Try to be as relaxed as you can and stay in your body. Stay in your body and try not to get all in your head about it. So if you realize you're starting to overthink it and try and like logic your way through it, just stop, a couple of deep breaths, remind yourself, it's all right, I'm kind of giving myself brain surgery right now in a non-invasive way. And just go back to it and go back to the feeling. And then the last thing I'm going to give you that is really helpful, and I literally do this with clients, if you were to know, what do you think it might be? It actually gives you an extra layer of perspective. So if you were to know, what do you think it might be? Like, because sometimes it feels like you're making it up, but there is a reason you're making that up and not something else. And this is a general thing when I work with people one-on-one. It can feel like you're making shit up, but there's a reason your unconscious picked that and not the billions of other possibilities. So is that helpful? It's kind of a few little bits and pieces.
Yeah, most certainly. It's like, it's the questioning the questions. You're like, and like you said, are you making it up?
Yeah. And it's almost like a double negative kind of question. Like, it's a question that really, there's a reason why the question is worded like that, because it's meant to make your brain just get stuck and look for a different way. And it's literally looking for and forging a new neural pathway to start establishing. So, yeah, it is.
Thank you.
It is very much good work, everybody. You're brain surgeons now, certified, board certified. We're the board. What should you do if you have a limiting belief, but you already have the results? So it's like your limiting belief shouldn't even exist. Please explain, Jess, because I'm not quite clear on what you mean there.
So it's like, one of my limiting beliefs is that I'm not worthy of having it. But then I like broke it down and it comes back to like, I don't believe that I should be succeeding. I don't believe I should have the money, and I don't believe I could like lead other people. But I am already having the success. I'm already making the money and I'm already leading the people. But I don't understand why I still hold so highly to that limiting belief.
Okay, cool. So number one, you're recognizing that, yeah, I do still have a limiting belief because I don't feel good about it, right? So it's still a limiting belief because you're not allowing yourself to enjoy it and to just accept it, right? And embrace it. So it definitely is, yes, you've got the physical results, but you haven't got the emotional results. And success isn't just about having the stuff. And also, if you're not careful, and if you allowed that to take over, it could result in self-sabotage, right? So you definitely want to deal with it and you definitely want to address it. Do you want to have a play?
Sure.
All right. Let's let me find it again. Just keep an eye on the time. So what have we got here? You feel?
As in like what I put in there, or do it again?
Yeah. What did you put in there?
In there I had that I feel scared and frightened about taking the next level within my business.
Cool. So feeling scared and frightened about going to the next level in your business. So why do you feel scared and frightened about going to the next level in your business, Jess?
Because I feel like I'm unworthy of the money, the success, and I won't be able to fully lead others.
So the limiting belief, it's sort of two-part, but I would say the unworthy part's probably the major bit. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So the limiting belief, because it always comes out in this second question, and then we just need to tidy it up. The limiting belief that we've uncovered is I'm unworthy, because that's how you feel, right? So what are you afraid would happen if you didn't feel scared and frightened about going to the next level?
That I would actually succeed.
Okay. So you're afraid that, and you're quite clear on this, right? You're afraid that you would actually succeed.
Yeah.
Do you really believe what you just wrote?
Yes. So then I went back to question 1.
Yep. Cool. So what you can then actually do is go back not to question 1, but to level 1. So that's okay.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Yep. So you're afraid that you would actually succeed. Well, what you can actually do, hang on, let me just, sorry, I can't talk and think. Too many neural pathways firing at the same time. So really, you've gone back to this and said, I'm scared and frightened about succeeding, is really what you've said, right? Because I feel unworthy. And so the limiting belief is I feel unworthy. And now you can go back to level 1. Where did that idea even come from?
It comes from being constantly put down from others, but then self-sabotaging because I believed what they said for so long.
Oh my God. Sorry. So believing what others say, basically, is really how we can sum that up. If Miriam could type, that would be a great day. Believing what others say. Well, what if it's not true?
Then I would be succeeding.
So what if the opposite was true? So we're still talking about the belief. What if you are worthy?
Then I would go after it.
And then isn't it interesting that you already are successful?
Yeah. And that's where I'm like completely stuck because it's like I'm already getting those results, what I want, but then I still hold myself back because of a belief.
So, but do you understand that you're actually arguing for your limitations right now?
Not entirely.
Because you're telling me that you've already got all the proof that it's not true and that you would be succeeding and that you are succeeding, and you're still scared and frightened. So what if that actually means that despite being scared and frightened, you can still succeed?
Yes, that's true.
Interesting, right? So let's go back to I'm unworthy. So what are you afraid would happen if you didn't feel scared and frightened about succeeding?
I think it comes back to the opinion of someone else.
Okay, others would judge you.
Yeah.
So I would be judged, basically. So I would be judged. Right. And like this is a really deep, juicy one. So you kind of have to play with it a little bit and circle around. But do you really believe what you just wrote, that others would judge you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let me ask you a different question. Is it actually a problem?
No, because they judge me anyway.
Right. So sometimes like the one you're playing with, I'm unworthy, is probably the biggest limiting belief that you, as in when I say the biggest, it's the most insidious limiting belief of all of them. Right. So you've got to like massage it a little bit, but everything you need is here. So you just keep attacking it from all the different angles. So yeah, others will judge you, but do you actually care? Like, are you so? And you just said, well, no, because they're going to judge me anyway. Well, then are you really afraid of it? Like, go back to the question again. Am I really afraid of it if they're going to do it anyway and I don't really care?
No.
No. Maybe you've just been conditioned to be afraid of it. Maybe it's just a habit.
That's very possible, yes.
Yeah, because, you know, we've just kind of we've gone around on this question. We've looped it a couple of times and just questioned your answer again with the same question I gave you. And it's like, yeah, but I don't even give a shit, really.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So it's a good example because it's a little bit outside the box, and that's because I'm unworthy is just one of these things. But also, I think for everybody else, there's a really good lesson in this because sometimes it's just a bad habit. And you can keep playing with it. You know, what are you afraid would happen if you didn't believe that you're unworthy? Because like you've got this thing where you're like, oh, I'm holding it up like a badge of honor kind of thing. You know, so it is about being judged, but is being judged actually a problem? So maybe the limiting belief you want to play with this some more is people judge me or people think whatever of me, and take yourself through that process. Because sometimes you go through this and you actually find the belief that's at the root of the one you started with, which is kind of what's happened. Like, you know, we've talked about I'm unworthy, but it's actually really about the fear of being judged.
Yeah.
So then you can circle back and plug that in again at the start and play with it.
Very
Is that
beneficial.
helpful?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So I think the lesson from that, and I'm really glad you threw something a bit left of field at me, because the lesson is it's all here. Just keep using these questions and don't be scared to kind of, you know, move around a little bit and play with it a little bit. And it doesn't have to be all done mechanically necessarily in that order, but try and definitely do what I just talked about before, which is, you know, just to give yourself time and embrace the process. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to do a quickish meditation for you, which is always a challenge for Miriam because I go off to La La Land when I take you to La La Land. Remember that your home play is to go to step 3 worksheet and then write a letter to yourself. So we're going to do a meditation now that will help inform that. Just before we do, does anybody have something they desperately need to ask me? Or you're all good? And I'm in the group, so if you want to ask follow-up questions in the group, you're actually welcome to. And I'll jump in. I can do a video or something like that to answer it as well. Awesome. All right, so just make sure everybody's muted and only join the meditation if it's safe to do so, please. The chat, by the way, is brilliant. There's some really good stuff in the chat. Thank you for all of that. So, great session. Remember that your home play is to write that letter to yourself. Please tag me in the group. Let me know how you're getting on. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And thank you for playing today. Big shout out to Leanne. Have a beautiful day.